The slave masters passed this black sinner off as an old African ritual that would keep bad spirits away or bring the good spirits on. And number 6, shoe fly. Shoe fly was a reference of the Masons who gave aid to the slaves. The first black American Masonic Lodge was established by Prince Hall prior to the Revolutionary War in Boston. Number 7, the bow tie. Escaping slaves were clothed in the most distinguished of garments. The clothing would get worn and tattered and, give away their status as they tried to make their getaway. So there were oftentimes free blacks would meet them, and they gave them fresh clothing so that it would not be easily recognized. And because they had to walk all the way through town to get to the awaiting ships. So this is why they changed their clothing. That's what the bow tie exemplified. Number 8, flying geese. Geese represent, I'm sure some of you, I was born and raised in Oklahoma, been a few places, but this is my home. And I always love to watch the geese. You can hear them a long way off. And if you'll just go outside and stand and listen, within moments you'll be able to tell where they are. And you look up and there they are. If they're in the sky, they have one leader, and they're following their leader. If they have lost their leader or stopped to rest, they're on the ground. But they stay in a bunch, so you will always be able to see them there. So the geese was a direction as well, indication of the best season to escape, the best season of the year to escape. Now, as you know, geese fly north in the spring and the summer. And they also know how to find waterways along the journey in order to rest and eat. The slaves were to take their cues on direction, timing, and behavior from the geese. Number 9, a very interesting quilt pattern. It's called the drunkard's pattern. It was the perfect pattern to hide many patterns. It's called a drunken weave, and I'm sorry you can't see it. It's old now, and I really have said that I'm going to really do it in material so it can be more preserved and kept. But it's a zigzag type of thing. And it meant that the slaves were to, you ever seen a drunk? I have. I've been in church all my life. I wasn't a drunk, but I did drink something. Haven't been in church all my life, but I've seen drunks. And they can't walk straight.
Yeah, that's right.
They weave a little pattern. You can't get kind of zigzag. But this is what the slaves were to do. They're never moving in a straight line. Use a zigzag fashion, and sometimes they would have to double back occasionally. But that was in order to elude some of the slave catchers who might be pursuing them. And the last quilt was the star. And that was a found quilt to be hung on the fence. And this pattern was a signal to follow the North Star, carrying them to freedom. You might sit if you would like until a little later. Don't go far. Don't go too far. Once assembled, the quilts were hanging on the fence because no clothesline were allowed in slave quarters. And they were hanging on the fence one at a time in a certain pattern sequence. The slaves would study each quilt thoroughly as they hang. When the master and the missus would see these quilts hanging out, you know what they assumed? Don't assume, people. Assumption gets you into trouble. They would assume that those niggers are airing the quilts because they stinky, they musty. So they're airing their quilts on the fence. But the slave knew it was time to make their long-awaited move. I've got this kind of parted off because I did this as a skit, so I'm having to watch where I go on here to do it, but we're going to get there. And as I said, Hidden in Plain View is the name of it. Now we see the word freedom here, but the code explanation, the code was hidden in plain view, and the code explanation is the monkey wrench turns the wagon wheel toward Canada on a Bear Paws trail to the crossroads. And once there, they dug a log cabin on the ground. And Shoefly told them to dress up in clothing and satin bow ties. And Flying Geese was to stay on the drunkard's path and follow the stars to freedom. Now, one wonders how an enslaved, oppressed, unlearned, and ignorant people who had such little knowledge, if any, of the land. They didn't have much knowledge of the land. They were on that plantation. That's where they had to stay. But you wonder just how did they have this knowledge to be able to chart out such a path out of bondage. But the answer existed in the use of the pattern put together to quilts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 to form a code hidden in plain view. Now you be the judge. Who were the ignorant, stupid, and unlearned people? Were they the master and missus, or was it the so-called niggers? Thank you.